Do you want to make more course sales? Well, today's expert will be sharing 6 creative strategies that you can apply to make more sales of your course so that you can have a bigger impact. I'm also going to be sharing a tip that will help your videos to look better, as well as another free tool that I use all the time in my business that could be great for you too. Welcome to the Recognized Expert Show. I'm Demelza and I'm here to help you go from the unheard course creator to the recognized expert in your space. So if you're an online course creator wanting to increase your impact, influence, and income, you are in the right place. Let's get started. If you're watching this live, then please hit the like button and say hi in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, then it would be great to hear from you too. I will actually be in the comments to interact with you while we're live, so hopefully I'll see you in there for a chat. Now today I am interviewing Tina Dahmen, who is a course creator herself and a coach for course creators. She's been featured in publications such as Forbes and Entrepreneur and has been featured in course summits as well as actually running her own summit. Today, she's going to be sharing with us 6 strategies that we can implement right away to increase our course sales, which is something we all want, right? So let's get started. Thanks so much, Tina, for joining us today. Maybe you could share with us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into what it is that you're doing and what you're going to be sharing today.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, dear listeners out there. My name is Tina Dahmen. I'm an online course coach. And how did I get into the industry? Well, I was working in travel before for many, many years. I was running a luxury tour company in Bali and an educational tour company actually in London before. And the time I was working in that business, I was more working in that business than on the business. And the time I spent compared to the return on investment I got back was nothing compared to what I'm doing right now. So how this all originated was my first digital product. I made 5 figures within the first 2 months. And that was more money than I made the entire year through a travel company in profit, that is. And I was like, and I worked far less. And that was the moment when it's like, wow, I've been through 2 burnouts with my travel company. I am stressed all the time. I have a huge team of people which I need to manage, who live in a third world country, who have completely different work ethics that I have, or than I would expect for them to bring to the table for this to build up my vision. But you realize quickly you can't change a culture. So either you take it or leave it. And I decided to leave it and to focus on digital products and to build a business out of that. And then once I had success with that, I decided to teach other people how to do the same. So that's pretty much how that happened.
Great. And from my understanding, you've been pretty successful and you know how to help people make sales of their course, which is one of the things which I think a lot of people struggle with is they can create the course maybe because they know their content, but actually the marketing side of things and selling it is a little bit more of a challenge. So maybe you could share a little bit about how we can make better progress with our sales.
Of course, sure, yes. But before I share, I've got 6 points today for you, which I would like to share some quick golden nuggets, how you can increase your course sales. But before we dive into that, I would like to really emphasize on that please, everyone out there who's thinking of creating an online course, please don't create it and then go off and sell it, right? Just sell it before you create it, because otherwise you will end up like me. I did that before too. My first online course, I flew to Australia and I recorded a self-defense course for women before I sold a single copy of it. Can you imagine all the costs? Like I was there with my jiu-jitsu teacher. I hired the gym, the room in the gym, then the videographer and the flights and all of the costs. Well, I was crashing my friend's place, but so that I saved the money there. But anyway, point being is I spent a lot of time and a lot of money for a product which I did not sell and nobody was going to buy after, not was going to buy, but I also didn't have any idea about launching. I didn't know how to sell and launch, right? So please don't make the mistake like myself and like many other course creators out there as well, because you too.
Yeah, me too. I created an entire course, launched it, and literally no one bought. I say I launched it. It wasn't a launch. I didn't know what I was doing either.
Yeah. So, but we're not alone. So many people out there do it. unless they come to me before or someone else who teaches it, of course, the right way.
Yep.
But there's other coaches out there who teach, oh, create the course and then sell it, which is obviously the wrong way. So yeah, dear listeners out there, definitely learn how to launch properly first, learn how to sell, and sell your course before you create it, because this way your course will change so much, your content will change so much
Mm-hmm.
while you are going through your first round with your beta students. While you're going through that content, it will change so much while you create it. So it's not about what you think in your head, what you think people should be learning. It's more so about what they want to learn. Like if you get that, the mix of what people should be learning and what you know they need to learn in order to get that transformation out of the course, and your mind will be blown once you see, oh, because we are so close to our project and so close to the topic, we know it by heart, and we forget to talk about smaller things and important things other people need to know in order to get to that next level, in order to connect the dots and things like that. And you cannot get that quality content if you just go ahead by yourself, locking yourself up in a room for a few weeks and just producing that content. You need to speak to your students, and you need to listen to your students, and you need to like really make sure that you create a quality content, because that's the only way how you can scale. Maybe you'll be lucky and you sell 1 or 2 copies, but that's not the point why you want to create an online course in the first place, right? You want to be able to scale. You want to be able to stop trading your time for money. You want to be able to serve more people through your online course, and you need to make sure it's going to be a scalable course, and that's only through really validating your idea properly and then going off and selling it. And the only really true way how you can say this is a validated offer is when people vote with their credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
There will be lots of people out there who say first, oh yeah, great idea, I would buy this course, but would I really? Well, yeah, when you validate your idea, it's great when they say and when they react to your questions and your surveys and things like that. That's great. You get a feel for where you're going, but the ultimate validation is really when someone pays you for it. So
Right.
there's that.
Yeah, that's great. And doing a live workshop or something and actually teaching it live, getting that immediate feedback is really helpful. And then you can produce it. So even though I teach video for producing the courses, I think it's still much more important to validate the content first without worrying about all the tech. And once you've validated that, then you can create the course and worry about the tech side of things once you know it's working.
Absolutely. And that is like, it's so funny because the number one question I get all the time is like one of the main objections is people are scared of tech. And the number one question is, oh, which platform should I use to host my content? Really, that is one of the things you should worry about the least, because that's not important right now.
Right.
You don't even need a platform if your course is not validated, if your idea is not validated.
Exactly.
If you didn't sell a course, you don't need to worry about the platform. So prioritize properly and take the right steps in the right order. That's what I would suggest.
That's right. Great. Well, go ahead and share with us how we can actually go ahead and sell more of our courses.
Sure. Yeah. So there are 6 little tips which I would like to give you today, and we can dive a little bit into each of them. So first, I'm assuming you already have a course, right? So that's the stage where we're at now. We are not going to talk about the validation or the pre-launching anymore. So now we're just purely focusing on the sales. So you have a course and you want to sell more courses. Well, who doesn't? So today I would like to challenge you to number one, I would like to suggest to you just to reach out to 10 new people you have never spoken to, but they could be interested in your course. Just make 10 new connections, right? If you don't speak to your neighbor, if you don't even know your next door neighbor, Tony Robbins says that all the time. If you don't even know your next door neighbor, you don't have a business. Because you need to get the word out there. You need to get people talking about you and your product. You need to share your ideas with the world. And specifically now, we're all a bit isolated, and so we have the great technology there. That's all there. You just got to be proactive and really reach out to people and just start a conversation. And I'm not saying reach out and drop your links and spam people with that. Not at all. Please, guys, don't do that. I don't know how many times a day I actually get like private messages on Facebook. People just like I've never spoken to, and the first thing I see is like a pre-copywritten message with dates and times and click here, sign up now and stuff like that. So, girl, I don't even know you. Who are you? Why would I even care to read those paragraphs? I'm really busy, and I'm sure so is everyone else, right? So don't be that person who just spams other people with their links. Be that person who actually creates a genuine connection.
Right.
That's what, yeah, right. That's what people are longing for, and that's how you build a know, like, and trust factor. You can't just rock up and smash people with your sales links. It's just not going to work. It doesn't work. Even if it's a freebie, people are not going to be interested in that. Just ask for permission first. Get the yes first. See if they're interested, and if they're not interested, you can always invite them to your Facebook group or whatever, right? You have met a new friend, you've chatted a little bit, and you never know when that comes back, when you can maybe help her or him or the other way around. So it's not necessarily about really refocusing on just dropping your links everywhere. It's really just it's really about making a genuine connection. And if that one person doesn't fit, then you just reach out to the next one.
Right. I know that there's the analogy of dating. You don't immediately ask someone to marry you. You get
Oh
to
yeah,
know them and you build up the relationship before you make the proposal. And likewise in our
correct.
businesses, we don't want to be slamming them with our offers right at the front, because it's like, whoa, we want to build that relationship, just like you were saying.
Correct. Yeah, good comparison. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. And what's another tip? You said you got several, so I'm all
Oh
in.
yes. Yeah, so that was one. And then we have another one. Let me see. Fix at least one small thing in the flow of your funnel today, which would move the needle the most. We all build funnels, and they may be probably not as high converting as they should be, right?
Mhm.
But also be aware there's a million things you can fix in your funnel, but don't fix them all at the same time, because this way you can't measure what actually moved the needle, right? So think about it, and what is a quick fix you can do right now, and test it back.
Mhm.
Go back to your emails. Maybe you can improve the copy. Maybe you can add some more power words, some converting words. Maybe you can fix some pain points you're talking to. You should address in every email. You should obviously address people's pain points and why they're supposed to sign up for your course and things like that. So maybe think back about your last webinar, or the last blog post you read, or the last conversation you had maybe with one of these 10 people you just messaged, we talked before, and really listen what they said. What is it they're struggling with, and then go back to your funnel and fix one of those objections. Maybe switch it with something else and try to really nail down the copy. That could be one thing you could be fixing in your funnel. There's other things you could be fixing in your funnel. For example, if you have a high converting freebie, test out which one is your highest converting freebie, and what happens after that. If someone opts into your freebie, do you have immediately like a low offer there, like something for $7 or $17, something like that, where someone can sign up directly? So you can move them from being just a visitor, just a subscriber, to being already a customer. Because it's not about the $7 you're collecting. It's not about the $17 you're collecting. It's more so about the mindset. It's more so about the switch you're flicking in their brain, right? Because once someone spends something with you once, and the amount really doesn't matter, they are more likely to spend with you again, and you will have an easier time then in your funnel, when your great copy starts, to convert them and to make a sale to your course.
That's a really good tip. I think messaging is super important. How we communicate the pain points and addressing those things is so valid, because if you're not really hitting on those pain points, people aren't just going to see the need for your course, and then they're not going to buy it. So I think
Right.
messaging is one of those things which is actually a little bit harder to nail than we think. We think we got good messaging, and then we're not converting as well as we think, and it evolves over time and really becomes a lot more refined, I think. But I think messaging is definitely one of those areas where we really need to focus in order to make more sales.
Right.
And as you said, make those first sales, and then you can make more sales further down the line as well.
Correct. The reader really needs to think feel, oh, Demelza is in my brain. How does she know this? How does she know how I feel? How does she know I'm struggling with that, right? They really need to feel like, oh my gosh, she knows everything about me, because they need to identify themselves with whatever you're saying. Like the messaging needs to be on point.
That's great. So how long
Yeah.
would you suggest for testing these things? You say test one thing at a time. How long would you say is a good amount of time to test it before testing something else?
Yeah, good question. It really depends on how much traffic you've got coming through, right?
Mm.
So you want to measure it in percentage. What's your conversion rate in that? So have at least, I mean, if you can, 1,000 people running through,
Mm.
or 100 if you're not running ads. If you're just doing organically for now, maybe just test it with 100 people and see what's the conversion rate in that, because that's easy then to calculate, right? How
Mhm.
many people of those 100 did I convert? And then, or if you're running ads, take 1,000, right? Because the more data you have, the easier it is for you to take a decision. So don't make a decision on based on what you think. Make a decision on based on what the data is telling you, right?
Right. I've heard that sometimes what we think is going to convert well doesn't actually convert as well as we thought, and things that we didn't think would convert well actually skyrockets. And it's like, why?
Totally. Yes. Yes.
So, great tips. What's your third tip?
My third tip would be look over your know, like, and trust email sequence and add more know, like, and trust content. So how I teach my students how to create their first email sequence is to build know, like, and trust. Because before you, again, back to the dating analogy as well, before you can, drop the bomb and say like, hey, do you want to buy my course or do you want to marry me? You gotta babysit that relationship a little bit and nurture it, right? Like build a know, like, and trust factor. And that is, again, with creating a connection.
Mhm.
Meet your readers where they're at. Talk to them, their pain points. Share your story, because most likely you have a similar story to what they're going through right now. So they need to see and they need to know, they need to see, like when they read your email, or if it's a video sales letter, maybe they need to think, oh my God, Demelza, she's done it. And she was like me before, stuck like me, exactly how I am and where I'm at right now. But now she's already transitioned out of that. And I can see through her stories she's sharing, I can see she's made it. You need to inspire that belief. Like that is your job. You need to make people believe that they can do it, because people unfortunately don't think, majority of the people don't have that self-belief so much. So our job really is it to empower people and to help them make believe that they can do it,
Yeah.
right? So the self-doubt creeps in, unfortunately, far too many times. And that's the job of the know, like, and trust email sequence. It is usually like 4 or 5 emails in a row. Once they sign up for your freebie, and then the know, like, and trust email gets triggered, and from there you can then go back into that sequence and see which is, and use their words again, right? Go back to your survey and see what kind of words are they using, and really implement those words into that know, like, and trust sequence. Is the story you're telling, is that the right story for them to feel that way?
Mhm.
Oh, she's been there before, now she has transitioned out of it and is successful, I can do it too. Or maybe you can change the story, because there's not only one story. Like we have all so many mini stories we can tell. We don't really think about that at first. When everyone asked, like you told me, right, you just asked me about the epiphany story. What was the moment what made you go, oh, I want to do that, right? That is one of my stories, but there's so many other things which I could tell, depending on, well, now it's obviously difficult, right? Because we don't really know who's listening and where they're at in their journey and things like that. But with your sequence, you
Mhm.
can really determine that, because you know what kind of freebie they opted in. If they opted in for, 10 things to consider, or 10 crucial things to consider before you start an online course so you can avoid expensive mistakes, right? Then you know these people are beginners because they just opted in for a freebie, which helps them to start the party.
Yeah.
Or if you have a freebie which says, 10 ways how to scale your online course after you hit your first 10K months, or something like that. You know where they're at. And
Mhm.
from there, you tell the story then. So go back to your know, like, and trust email sequence and really check if that aligns with where you're going to meet your readers. That
Right.
would be what? Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say that segmentation is really important in increasing the conversions, because then you are talking directly to that individual, not as a general rule. So, for example, you use the conversions and where they're at. For me, it could be beginner videos, people who are literally no experience, or people who want to improve their videos, having done some already. And you talk to people differently. If you talk to the ones who are wanting to scale their courses as if they were beginners, they're not going to take any notice of you. And likewise, if they're beginners, they're not ready for all that scaling stuff yet. So it's really important to segment your email list as much as possible, and then talk directly to the segment that is relevant to the content that you're sharing, because that's really going to help increase that know, like, and trust factor and increase the conversions.
Yeah, right. Awesome.
Great.
So yeah, that would be my tip number 3.
Great. So what's number
Do
4?
we have time for some more?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Cool. Set another date for your next launch already. So if you haven't done your launch setting dates, that would be a good time now. Then, if you don't set a date, it's not going to happen. So that's the first thing you should be doing right now. One other tip I can give you regarding launches is at the end of the year or around Black Friday, I plan my upcoming year, and I know already when am I going to launch what, and how long does it take me, and how many months do I need to prepare for all of that. So, but if you haven't done that yet, that's one thing I would encourage you to do. Just plan out your entire year, and don't worry, it can change, of course. Things change all the time, and don't worry if it does. But what is important here is the point is to just have dates nailed down and written down. It's really, really, really important, because what is it called? There's this effect. There's
I know what you're talking about. We use up all the time.
yes, so it takes you as much time as you give it.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't figure the name right now, but you guys out there, if you
Yeah.
say like, okay, April 1st, I'm going to launch my next online course. And what are you going to do for it? Oh, 5-day challenge. Okay, so 5-day challenge, then it's got to be at least 2 weeks promotion period before that and things like that. So schedule your time and schedule your next launch in already, and see your course sales increase. That's a pretty simple one. There's not so much to say about that, but it's just like an actionable tip, which I would like to give to you. But maybe also just really try a 5-day challenge, because they're actually really, really fun. It's not just about webinars and masterclasses all the time, because with the 5-day challenge, you can really start specifically for course creators. It's amazing because in the 5 days, you can teach a little bit from your module 1. Because when people start to work on their module or to work on their courses, well, for me it's courses, but whatever you teach them in your course, right?
Yeah.
So in module 1, it's usually the first step, and after they finish the 5-day challenge, then the next logical step to continue the journey would to take your course, right?
Right.
So why would they not do that? And you have really serious people then in your challenge, because if they're not serious about learning your specific topic, then they would not be investing the 5 days and do the homework and come and watch your lives and engage and things like that. So yeah, I would challenge you. I would suggest to you right now to maybe schedule your next 5-day challenge and launch your course within the next month or so. Yeah.
Exciting. Great. What
Yeah.
about number 5?
Number 5 is reach out to at least 10 people who could potentially partner up with you and promote your products to their audience. So this is partnerships, referrals, and affiliates. And I'm doing, I would say, a pretty good job at the moment, building my own affiliate army. And because these people are kind of like your ambassadors, right? So if you have other people talking about you, that's amazing. Like, that's word of mouth marketing, which is actually, by the way, the oldest marketing form of marketing out there. It has existed before anything else, and it's the most effective too, because if someone else talks about you in a good way, then that's good. Like, it's an easier sell than as if you would come and these people wouldn't know about you. Maybe they have never heard about you, but if someone else talks about them and this other person knows this other person, the know, like, and trust factor is already there, kind of.
Yep.
And yeah, people are more open to then enrolling into other people's courses when they get a recommendation for that.
Yeah,
So
I ended up buying some cleaning products on the recommendation of my sister. I'd never heard of them before, but just because of what she shared on Facebook, I was really impressed. And I was like, well, I'm going to get some too. And I didn't know anything about the cleaning products at all. I just
right.
literally went on her testimonial and what she shared. And because we have the know, like, and trust factor, she's my sister. But that enabled me to just be like, I want that. And other people, again, if you can get people who are so on fire for your course, they've got that transformation, they're going to share it with others, and other people will be like, I want that too.
Yes, yes. And if your students are like, if you did a good job of your students, that they're your best ambassadors, because they say, hey, because of Demelza's course, I have now the perfect videos on this and this and this and that.
Mhm.
And that is like the best marketing you can ever get.
Yeah.
So,
So really
but
nurture those relationships with your students.
for sure, absolutely. But also, if that, they don't have to be your students, right? They can be like people who complement your services.
Mhm.
So that's like it takes time to build your affiliate army, like Russell Brunson likes to call it as well. It takes time because you got to convince them to know, like, and trust you. You got to convince them to know, like, and trust your product. You got to provide material. Well, that's what you create once, but you provide them with the material they need, but you also need to encourage them all the time. So it's also not done with, oh, okay, here's my material, so please go out now and promote for the rest of your life. You gotta have intensive, and you gotta have affiliate competitions, and you gotta have things like that in place to really also be and keep being in front of your affiliate ambassadors. So, and yeah, it's great if you can find people who complement your services. For example, for me, I have all sorts of different people, um, uh, writers who focus on blogging, for example. Right, I don't teach blogging, but I teach how to create an online course. What else do people need who want to sell online courses? Well, a traffic source. Well, blogging is a great traffic source, for example, or podcasting. Where's the next podcaster I could contact who could then, send clients my way, or vice versa as well.
Mhm.
So this always goes builds around building strategic relationships too. I have another guy on my list. He focuses on the scaling part. He helps people who make a minimum of $100,000 with their webinar already, and he helps them make even more money,
Wow.
right? So it's like there's no clash of interest, but just support, and that works really, really well. So that is not something what happens overnight. Well, with your students, that can happen overnight because they already know you and they hopefully got results.
Mhm.
But with new people, it doesn't happen overnight, but it is so worth it having that strategy in place, because you never know when Facebook shuts down your ads account, or maybe your personal profile, or I just lost my Instagram account, for example. I don't know if I will ever get it back, over 30,000 followers, things like that. I'm not even upset anymore. It's just Facebook and me, we are just not the best friends. Once you start market a lot, then you will see you have a bit of issues sometimes with different platforms if you don't really stick to the rules all the time, if you market a lot. So but all of these things don't matter if you have an affiliate army in place,
Right.
because they will not just block you and delete your content forever or delete your entire audience. You will always have them. So
Yeah.
that's really great, and I will really encourage everyone out there to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a good point as well. We don't own those platforms, so all of the audience that we built on that platform, we really want to get them onto our email list so that we can
Yes.
still interact with them, even if we do
Right.
get blocked.
Right, absolutely true. Yeah, good point. Yeah,
And is that number 5? I think we're on 6. Are we on 6?
that is now the last one. Yes, number 6. Find one thing you could improve in your online course to make it even better. Right, it's that is also maybe not a thing which you can fix quickly, but that's more so a thing which you maybe take note of over time when you get feedback from other students, and you will see where they ask lots of questions. You will see, okay, maybe in this area I didn't explain it well enough. Maybe I need to go back and re-record it, or explain it in a different way, or use a different analogy, or things like that. So go back to your course and re-record things which are maybe not clear, but also maybe think about ways how you can make it even better. How how can you make your offer better? Can you add anything to the offer what you didn't have at the beginning? Maybe you have added like a small other digital product to your product suite, and you could make it as a bonus and wrap it up in a bundle or things like that. Like constantly try to really improve, make your offer better, because people will like that. Even if they already signed up, you can, of course, send them an email and say like, hey, by the way, we've just added this masterclass where you can also learn this, 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 and this. And you're welcome. You already paid. So this is just a bonus because you're one of my students. And then your future students will be like, oh my God, this is also included. That's so great. So yeah, that would be my point number 6. Suggested number 6, find one thing you can improve in your offer and in your online course.
Great. That's a lot of suggestions of what we could focus on.
Yes.
Is there one that you would pick out for maybe a beginner to focus on, and then maybe one that you would suggest for someone a little bit more advanced? I mean, obviously, I recommend implementing all of these things because they're all really great suggestions. But if you were to pick one beginner one and one advanced one, what would you pick?
For the advanced one, probably the affiliate. Army, build your affiliate group, because you got to have some results in place to be able to convince affiliates as well to trust you. You got to be a little bit of an authority in your niche. So that would be more the advanced people. Don't worry about that when you're just starting out. Think about it, of course, always think about it, aim high. But yeah.
So start building
Yes.
relationships so that when you do want them to come on board as affiliates, that relationship is already established.
Correct. Absolutely correct. That's what you would do as the beginner. But what else could you do as a beginner? Which one of those? Maybe reach out to 10 people today who are interested in your course, could be interested in your course, who are interested in your topic, and offer your freebie after you had a great conversation, and after they're really struggling with something, and your freebie could provide a quick instant solution to solve their problem. That would probably be the fastest way how to get them into your funnel.
That's great. Now you are currently gearing up to run a summit for a whole bunch of us course creators who are from beginning stages to advanced stages. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and why we should join? Because I think it looks great.
Sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah. We are running an online course, which is called Online Course Talks, which is a virtual conference for online course creators, coaches, speakers, consultants, and authors, or anyone really who would like to either learn how to create or market and sell, or how to scale an online course. So we have divided it's a 7-day event, and we have divided into 3 different phases. Phase 1 is the create stage. Phase 2 is the market and sell stage, and phase 3 is the scale stage. And we have great speakers like yourself on board who talk about video marketing or video content as well, Facebook marketing, paid and organic, funnel building, webinars, ManyChat, how to use chatbots, how to validate your idea. There's over 35 speakers. So we have over 35 amazing topics which you can dive into. And the best part of it, it's free. You can sign up now. Yay! You can sign up now. It's free. And you can just dive into any of these different sessions and take what you need. All of the sessions will be available for 24 hours every day. And then they expire and we move over to the next day. And we would love to see you there, and it's going to be an amazing event. We also have some live Q&A sessions. So after each phase ends, so phase 1, 2, and 3, we have live Q&A sessions, and you can join it and join our experts and ask them questions directly live if there are any questions.
That sounds amazing. So if you want to join this virtual conference, I encourage you to check out the link, which I'll leave in the description or the comments section. And maybe you can also share some social media or other ways we can contact you directly as well.
Yeah, sure. All my social media handles on all of the social media platforms out there is the same. It's at the Tina Dahmen. It's like the THE Tina Dahmen, like my name, which maybe you can put somewhere there.
I'll have it down here.
Yeah. And yeah, Twitter, find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook, add me on Facebook, connect me with me on LinkedIn. Currently, my Instagram is inactive since you know that now. But maybe when you watch this video later, maybe it's active again. So who knows? So just find me and say hi, don't be shy. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this value. It's been amazing and hopefully will be really helpful for those of you watching who are wanting to sell more of your courses. So what did you think of that interview? I think that for me personally, it was to actively start making connections with people who complement my service and to see if there's any kind of partnership that could work for us both in helping our audiences more effectively. So whether that's through JV partners or affiliates or some other kind of syndicate where we refer our clients to each other, knowing that they can get a fuller service from the multiple experts focusing on the different stages of the journey. So whether you are ready to act upon this stage yet or not, it might actually be worth keeping an eye open for people who complement what you do, and then build up a list and then start building relationships to see who would be good fits for you when you do want to pursue that route yourself. Now, I know she gave so many great ideas, so I would love to hear from you and hear what your biggest takeaway was and what you plan to implement this week as a result. Okay, so let's dive into today's tip, which is to apply the rule of thirds as you record your videos. Now, the rule of thirds is where you basically imagine dividing your screen into 9 squares, and the goal is to put the subject, which is most often going to be you, on the lines around the inner square. So, for example, rather than sitting right in the middle of your shot, try sitting slightly to the left or the right on one of the imaginary vertical lines. And it's also a good idea to place your eyes on the upper horizontal line so that there isn't too much headroom in the image as well. Now, if you're going to be sitting slightly to one side, then you want to make sure that you're turned ever so slightly towards the middle of the frame, as that will make your image feel more balanced. What you definitely don't want to do is do the opposite thing, which is face the other way, because that's actually going to make your image look very unbalanced. So these are just a little nuances that you can add to your videos to improve the composition and the overall look. Of course, you could just use a plain background and sit in the middle, and that's absolutely fine too. Now, if you would like your questions answered on this show, make sure you join the Facebook group Online Course Creators Using Video, and you can post on the questions thread in the announcements section, and I will aim to get those questions answered on this show. Now, as course creators, there's a lot that makes our business run effectively, so I like to recommend some of my favorite things as a course creator business owner, and today's recommendation is Canva. Now, last week I mentioned that I use Photoshop for a lot of my design work, but I also use Canva a lot as well. So for example, I mainly use it for designing my social media posts. So any questions that I post in my group, quotes, promos, or anything along those lines, I just design these in Canva because it's quick and easy to do. I also use it to design my freebies and bonuses. Now, in last week's show, I mentioned that I designed my freebie cover designs in Photoshop, but you could easily do that in Canva, no problem. So, although my freebie or bonus cover images are designed in Photoshop, I designed the layout of my PDFs in Canva, and then I just dropped the pre-designed front cover image onto the top page of my document. Also, when I'm designing my sales page, I will often use Canva to create the image elements to include on the sales page. And sometimes I've designed my Facebook banner art in Canva. I'm now using Photoshop most of the time. But you can use Canva to create slides as well if you want to, as well as many other things that I haven't actually ventured into yet. But it's basically a very robust program that you can use for free. And there is the option to upgrade, and then you get some extra benefits as well, such as access to the stock images and other features. So you can decide which you would prefer to do. But basically, if you're not using Canva yet, I totally recommend it for creating great visual elements for your business. Okay, so before I wrap this up, let's do a quick recap. Today you heard from Tina Dahmen, a course creator coach who shared 6 valuable tips on how you can make more sales of your course. Today's tip was to use the rule of thirds as you compose your videos, and my recommended tool this week is Canva for the design aspects of your business. And to wrap this up, the action step I encourage you to take between now and the next show is to sign up for the Course Talk Summit so that you can take advantage of even more amazing value from other course creator experts that can help you on your journey as well. Now, next week, I'm going to be interviewing Brad and Corey on the topic of making more sales by connecting with your audience. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for tuning into the Recognized Expert Show. For access to any of the resources mentioned in this episode, be sure to check out the show notes on the YouTube version of this show, which can be found at youtube.com/Demelza Marie. And if you found this show helpful, I would love for you to share it with others who may also find it helpful. And I will see you next